The tradition of spearing fish goes back thousands of years, maybe more. Once done for survival, it's now become a popular recreation in the region when the lakes freeze over. In western Minnesota, one destination that gets dotted with dark houses is Lac qui Parle Lake. Appleton resident Cody Thompson and I decided to head out one morning and take a stab at spearing. Spearing requires making a big hole in the ice. To save time and a lot of effort, a good reliable powered ice auger is essential equipment. A quick check to confirm the lake depth is always a good idea. Then it's back to drilling holes. In the old days, holes had to be drilled with hand augers. Things are much quicker and easier now.
I use an ice auger with a handsaw and just drilling a bunch of augered holes close together. I run them about 2 inches apart, and then I just use my handsaw and connect the dots pretty much. And then I use my ice tongs and pull out all the blocks, and then for a significant amount of slush after you've drilled 20 holes, I use like a trout net as a big ice skimmer just to speed up the process. Back the house back over the hole and sit and wait.
Okay, which one should we use?
Why don't we try this red and white one?
All right, sounds good.
Smaller red and white decoys can be great for attracting good eating size northern.
What do we got planned this morning?
Well, we got a big hole cut. We got our decoy down and hoping to spear a northern pike today.
Have you seen a lot of fish around here?
It's been pretty good so far. Last few weeks it's been better than average, so.
Well, we got a box full of decoys that we're going to try out today. We each got a couple of spears. Now we're going to sit and wait.
And here we're in about 6 feet of water, and decoy is going to be down about 18 inches. I'd say this year's been better than the past few years, and the clarity right now is not as good as it can be, but a couple weeks ago the clarity was perfect. You could see the bottom and all the detail. Usually if I can get them to come in, I usually got my decoy centered in the hole the best I can. If I need to improve my shot or try to get the northern centered up, I'll actually sometimes move the decoy to get him to come over to certain parts of the hole to center himself. Otherwise, if I get my spear overhead, I try to get my spear perpendicular to the fish. And if you can slowly get the head of the spear all the way submerged, and I try to get directly over center right off the back of the northern pike's head. And just a nice soft toss of the spear. You don't want to throw it, but just a gentle shove into the water. This spear is a lot of forward weight. It's extremely sharp on the barbs. Pretty much will not let a fish get away. Where I've had some other spears with the smaller barbs. And once in a while you'll lose one if it's a big fish and they're strong enough to swim away. But this one pretty much holds the fish in place till you can get it up out of the water. I know some people that'll switch out a decoy every half hour, every hour. A lot of times maybe I'll switch out decoys once a day. If I'm spending all day out here, swap it out. It's a rather new decoy, so I just kind of started using it a couple weeks ago. And when it's been down there, I've had a few come into it, and one big one. One was probably about 36 inches that came up to it.
Nice.
Usually keep my decoy on the pretty calm side. I don't swim them a whole lot. So the northerns come in usually pretty slow. So if I can get them come in and sit looking at the decoy, it usually gives me a perfect shot. So usually if I throw at a fish, it's usually pretty good odds I get them.
You ever lose the spear with the fish down in?
There's actually one time I had a buddy with and tossed the spear and actually got a fish and it was laying on the bottom, and he started pulling the rope back up and there was no spear there.
Whoops.
You could see the water cleared up a little bit after the fish was swirling on the bottom, but there was the spear and the fish still in the bottom of the spear hole. We managed to use another spear to get the spear pulled back out, and we got the fish and the spear back. So it does happen. For Lacaparo Lake, since I'd say there's a lot more larger fish out here, I run bigger decoys. So yeah, out here I run I got my 2 biggest decoys that I typically run on this lake. Otherwise, if I go to different lakes and I'm working a lot of smaller fish, then I change up to a lot of smaller, dartier decoys. Biggest confirm though that I've actually gotten was 39 inches. The first fish I ever had come into this one was the one when I fell asleep on the floor of the spear shack. So I wake up to a big pike nose to nose with this decoy.
So should we take a nap right now? Is that how we should do this?
It might bring them in actually.
Okay. What got you hooked on it when you were introduced to it? What did you like about it?
I would say the biggest thing is like the suspense and the thrill. Because you can sit for hours or days without seeing a fish, but the anticipation, when you see a giant northern pike come in the hole, it's worth the wait.
And here's footage of Cody's personal best, a 39-inch northern pike.